Alright, so let's do this. So first of all, we're gonna create the shape that we need for it. So you come to your drawing tab. Let's start with the eye first. Then we do the pupil. Then we do the eyebrow. I'm skipping one. Right? So assuming this is what you're gonna have. But first, just gonna come to my node view, select everything, highlight everything, and arrange the order here. I don't need to change anything. I'm just gonna click OK. And instead of having to create a peg for each individual one, I'm just gonna select everything. Ctrl Shift plus P is gonna create individual pegs for it. And also, let's do this as well here. Let us set our embedded pivot to the parent peg. That way, every pivot on the drawing is going to be the same as what we have on the parent peg. We don't need to change. So what I did was I just highlighted everything. Now I come to set properties on mini layers. Then I select this. So now we can start the drawing. So everything is now being done on my line art. So I'm gonna create a shape for the eye. Then I'm gonna create a shape for the pupil. Then I'm gonna create something for the eyebrow. Right. So now that I'm done with this, I'm gonna color it. I'm just gonna highlight the drawing. And I'm gonna create a color art outline using this tool. So now I have something here on the color art to fill in. So assuming we are using the black, next my paint bucket and fill it up. So now the color was done on the color art, not on the line art. So we're gonna do the same thing for the rest. Alright, so now that we have this, you realize your pivot is not centered, right? And you can move your pivot to the center by selecting the drawing and using the translate tool to try and find the center. But there are scripts that can help you with it. So if you have some kind of script installed like I do, you just have to select this. I use the script, it moves to the center. I'm gonna do the same thing with the eye. I use the script and it moves straight to the center. I did the same thing with this script, straight to center. So now we have all this set. So what we need to do now is just create some cutters to match this pupil when it passes around this eye. So I'm just gonna come to my node view, I strike enter and I key in the word cutter to bring in a cutter node, right? So take it this way. The eye here is a container and the pupil here is a content, right? So we need the content to be cut by the container. So I'm gonna plug in my pupil. So I'm gonna plug in my cutter this way. I need my content to be on the right side whilst the container will be on the left side. So right now, Toonboom is reading an action here and it's not seeing anything. So I'm gonna drag down my container here to allow Toonboom to see, but still we can't really see the people. That's because the effect is being inverted. So I'm just gonna double click on this to release that invertedness. So that's what we have. So assuming your eye was set, let's say blue, right? If I should pass it over here, you can see it's being cut. The eye is being cut behind it. Maybe that's not what you want. Maybe we actually want you to see your line over it. So what we are going to do, we are just going to introduce a line node, place it in a way that Toonboom is going to read the line attributes of this eye before it reads anything. So come back to my node view, I just strike the enter key, I type in line, I'm introducing a line art node. So I'm just going to plug in the eye to this line art. So what I'm trying to tell the software is, wherever you see this thing plugged in, since you read from left to right, wherever you see this line art, only show me the line art, ignore everything else, right? So now that we have this thing plugged in, we can check, and now it's not being cut. If it wasn't there, you realize that's what happens. Now that it's there, we have this, right? Good. So let us work on the brow. We need to create a brow in a way that whenever I drag this thing down, it covers everything. It disappears, it kind of masks everything. So this time it's going to be a little bit different. So let's go to the drawing tab here. If you don't have yours activated, all you need to do is click on the plus sign and you add a drawing, right? So now that we have this, so I'm going to copy the color art, paste it back onto my line art, right? Because we're going to do something else. I'm going to select everything here. Then I'm going to take it to my underlay. You realize I'm not doing this on the line art, I'm doing it on underlay. Then I'm going to create a stroke. If I come to my pin bucket here, press and hold for a while, it's going to open this drop down box. I'm going to select a stroke. What a stroke does is more like an invisible line, right? So I'm going to create some kind of shape which is big enough to cover the eye whenever we drag it down, right? So if you should come back to the drawing and I press K to remove my stroke, this is what we have. So I just need a shape that is going to cover up the eye. I don't need colors. So I'm going to delete these. I usually fill out my mask with green. So this is what we have, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to create an effect wherever the green passes, it hides everything. So now I'm trying to put all this in one composite, right? So let's create a composite. With that, you can just try Control H. Usually I set mine to pass through to make the workload lighter. I'm gonna plug this in. Then I'm gonna transfer everything here onto the composite in the way that it was placed initially. I'm just gonna change this to, let's say, icon, right? Good. So whatever we are going to do with this masking effect has to happen with this eye position. So I'm going to introduce in a cutter, right? Then I'm going to introduce two other nodes. The underlay that we just created for the masking, then the line art, right? Alright, so now I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to take this out. So I'm going to plug in the line in front of everything. Then I have now the container is going to come to the container is coming to the right hand side, while the content is coming to the left hand. And this time we need it to be inverted, right? Because we need to see something and we need to see the line art. So as you can see, you have this. Wherever I pass this break over, it covers everything. Alright, so I'm gonna create a master peg for this so that everything is connected to this. So let's say I master. Alright, so I'm gonna connect everything to this. That way, if I need this whole eye, I pull this master peg, it controls everything. I'm just gonna place a pivot somewhere I think I'm comfortable with. And now we have this. Right.